Hello, everyone. Today, today I welcome you into a story that is not just about money or business. It's about vision, failure, rejection, dreams, courage, belief, and building something from nothing. This is the real story of Ali Baba, the story of a man who was rejected by Harvard 10 times, rejected from 30 jobs, including KFC, and still became one of the richest people in the world. A man who believed in the power of the internet before most people in China even knew what a computer was. A man who started Alibaba with 18 friends in a small apartment, with no money, no connections, and no business experience. Just belief. And today, his company is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, changing the future of e-commerce, technology, logistics, and even movies. This is the real-life story of Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. And it will motivate you, inspire you, and also improve your English listening skills. As you listen, your vocabulary will grow, your understanding of sentence structure will improve, and your motivation will go 10 times higher. So listen carefully, because this is not just a story. And subscribe to our channel because here, every story inspires you and improves your English. At the same time. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Was Always Rejected, 1964 to 1988. Jack Ma was born on September 10, 1964 in Hangzhou, China, at a time when the country was still closed off from the outside world. Foreigners were rare. Computers didn't exist in homes, and very few people had even heard of the internet. His birth name was Ma Yun, and he came from a poor family. His father was a traditional musician and storyteller, and their family earned very little. They had no car, no television, no computer, just a small home and simple meals. But even as a child, Jack was curious, always asking questions. Why? How? What if? Jack was small and thin, not strong in sports, and academically, he struggled badly. He failed primary school not once, but twice. He failed middle school exams 3 times. Later, he even failed the university entrance exam 2 times before finally getting in. But there was one thing Jack Ma never did. He never gave up. He knew he wasn't the smartest. He knew he was failing. But he still believed, someday, somehow, I will do something big. At the age of 12, Jack's life changed in a surprising way. One day, he saw a group of foreign tourists walking through Hangzhou. He didn't know English, but he was fascinated by them. He wanted to understand their language, their stories, their world. So he made a bold decision. Every morning at 5 a.m., Jack would ride his bicycle 40 minutes to a hotel where foreigners stayed. There, he offered to be their free tour guide, not for money, but just to practice English. He did this for 9 years. Through real conversations, Jack learned how to speak English fluently, not by reading books or memorizing grammar, but by speaking and listening to real people every single day. One tourist from Australia even became his pen pal. She called him Jack, since Ma Yun was hard to pronounce. And that's how the world came to know Jack Ma. After finally graduating from Hangzhou Normal University, where he studied English, Jack was ready to find a job. But life didn't get easier. It got harder. He applied to 30 jobs. He was rejected from all 30. He applied to KFC. 24 people applied. 23 got the job. Jack was the only one rejected. He applied to be a police officer. They told him he wasn't qualified. He applied to work in sales, as a waiter, even as a secretary. Always the same answer. No. He even applied to Harvard University 10 times and was rejected every single time. But instead of breaking him, all these rejections made Jack stronger. He once said, "Every time I was told no, I said to myself, 'Good, that means something better is waiting.'" Jack Ma had no connections, no fancy degree, no powerful background, but he had belief, and that belief was growing stronger every day. In 1995, Jack got a chance to travel to the United States as a translator for a Chinese company. There, a friend showed him a computer for the first time in his life. He typed one word into Yahoo: beer. The results showed American beer, German beer, Japanese beer, but no Chinese beer. Then he searched for China. Still nothing. In that moment, Jack had a vision. The internet is going to change the world, but China is not even on it. He didn't know how to code. He didn't know how websites worked, but he knew something very clearly. China needs to get online, and I'm going to help make that happen. Jack returned to China with a new dream. He borrowed $2,000 from his friends and family and launched his first internet company, China Pages, an online directory to help Chinese companies create a presence on the web. He didn't understand programming, but he understood people. He hired tech-savvy friends and focused on communication, connection, and vision. For a short time, China Pages made headlines. But soon, government interference and corporate politics took over. Jack lost control of the company. It was his first big failure in business. But he didn't let that stop him, because that failure taught him one of the greatest lessons of his life. If you don't give up, you still have a chance. Giving up is the greatest failure. And it was with that mindset that Jack Ma would take his second shot at destiny, one that would change not just his life, but the world. Chapter 2. 18 friends, 1 apartment, 0 money. The birth of Alibaba, 1999 to 2002. After losing China Pages, Jack Ma didn't sit and cry. He went back to Hangzhou, gathered his thoughts, and asked himself one question. If China is going to grow with the internet, what does China really need? And the answer came to him like lightning. Small businesses in China need a way to sell their products online, not just to China, but to the whole world. Big companies had power. Big companies had money. Big companies could export. But what about the small guy? What about the local factory owner, the handicraft seller, the little shop in a small town? Jack Ma wanted to build a digital bridge for small Chinese businesses to connect with buyers all over the world. That idea became the seed of something huge. That seed was called Alibaba. It was 1999. Jack Ma invited 17 of his friends to his tiny apartment in Hangzhou. He stood in front of them with nothing but a marker, a whiteboard, and a crazy dream. He told them, "We're going to build a global company. We're going to help small businesses in China reach the world. We're going to create an internet company that will last 102 years." His friends were shocked. Some laughed, some were confused, but some believed. And those who believed joined him. In that tiny apartment, on a wooden table with no air conditioning, no salary, and 0 experience, Alibaba was born. Why the name Alibaba? Jack Ma chose the name Alibaba for a very specific reason. He said, "I was in a coffee shop in San Francisco, and I asked a waitress, 'Do you know Alibaba?' She said, 'Yes, open sesame.'" Everyone in the world knew the story of Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, a magical phrase that opened the treasure cave. Jack wanted his platform to be the open sesame for small businesses. to help them find treasure and success. The name was easy to pronounce, easy to remember, and it worked in every language. So it became Alibaba.com. Jack and his friends built the first version of the Alibaba website in 1999. It was simple. A basic platform where Chinese suppliers could list their products and international buyers could find them. It was not fancy, it was not beautiful, but it worked, and that was enough. They started by calling small factory owners, visiting local producers, and explaining the internet. Many people didn't believe them. Some said, "I don't need this computer stuff." Others said, "I have no idea how this works." But some, a small group of business owners, took a chance, and those chances became Alibaba's first users. Alibaba had no revenue in the beginning, no investors, no bank loans, just belief. The team worked day and night. They didn't take salaries for months. They ate simple meals, slept in the office, and believed in the mission. Jack Ma told them, "We are not here to make money fast. We are here to build something great, something long-lasting, something that helps people." And that belief kept them going. Even when the internet bubble was growing in the US and China was still unsure of this whole online world, Jack kept pushing forward. In late 1999, Jack Ma got an opportunity to meet investors from Goldman Sachs and SoftBank. Most investors didn't understand what Alibaba was. They asked, "Where's your office? How much money are you making? What's your business model?" Jack Ma smiled and said, "We don't have a perfect business model yet, but we have a mission, a team, and belief. We are here to make China proud. We are here to build a future." Masayoshi Son, the founder of SoftBank Japan, was one of the few people who saw something special in Jack. He didn't look at Jack's numbers. He looked at his eyes. He said later, "Jack had no revenue, no business plan, and still I gave him $20 million. Why? Because I saw fire in his eyes." That first round of funding, around $5 million from Goldman Sachs and $20 million from SoftBank, gave Alibaba a lifeline. Jack Ma now had the chance to take his mission to the next level. But he knew one thing: money doesn't guarantee success. Hard work and purpose do. Alibaba grew fast in the early 2000s. Thousands of small Chinese businesses joined the platform. Alibaba became the middleman, connecting sellers in China with buyers in America, Europe, and all over the world. But still, Jack Ma refused to make Alibaba a paid service in the beginning. He said, "Let the small guys grow first. When they succeed, we will succeed." Instead of making money, they focused on building trust. They launched Ali Wang Wang, a communication tool so buyers and sellers could talk directly. They created TrustPass, a verification program so users could know which businesses were real. They did everything to build confidence in the platform. Because in China at that time, online shopping was risky. People were scared of scams. Jack Ma knew, before people buy things online, they must trust the system. So he built that trust, slowly, patiently, day by day. In 2003, eBay entered the Chinese market and tried to destroy Alibaba. They had money, they had global power, and they were confident. eBay launched its own Chinese platform and started spending millions of dollars to dominate the market. Everyone said, "Alibaba is finished." But Jack Ma smiled and said something legendary. "eBay is a shark in the ocean, but I am a crocodile in the Yangtze River. If we fight in the ocean, we will lose. But if we fight in the river, we will win." He launched a new platform called Taobao, a free online marketplace for ordinary people in China to buy and sell products. He made everything free while eBay was charging sellers. In just 2 years, Alibaba beat eBay in China. eBay gave up and exited the Chinese market. It was a huge victory, not just for Jack, but for the Chinese internet industry. Alibaba had now become a national hero. Even after this big success, Jack Ma reminded his team every day, "We are not here for money. We are here to help small businesses. Our mission is to make it easy to do business anywhere." Never forget that. He knew that money would come, but only if they served people first. He trained his team to stay humble, hungry, and honest. He said, "Customer first, employee second, shareholder third." Because he believed that if you take care of people, success will take care of itself. Chapter 3. The Rise of a Giant. From local hero to global legend, 2003 to 2014. After defeating eBay in 2003 with Taobao, Jack Ma had a new challenge. Millions of Chinese people were starting to shop online. But there was a big problem. People didn't trust online payments. In China, back then, if you sent money online, there was no guarantee you would get your product. Scams were everywhere. Jack Ma asked, "How can people do business online if they don't trust each other?" So he created something the world had never seen before. Alipay. Alipay was an escrow payment system. It worked like this. 1. The buyer sends the money to Alipay. 2. The seller ships the product. 3. When the buyer confirms the product has arrived, Alipay releases the money to the seller. This simple system built trust. And trust built the entire e-commerce market in China. People called it crazy. Banks told Jack, "This is illegal." But Jack said, "If it's illegal, I'll go to jail. But if it works, it will change China." It worked, and it changed everything. Today, Alipay is used by over 1 billion people. But back then, it was just another brave risk from a man who had nothing except belief. While Alipay was growing, Taobao exploded in popularity. By 2005, Taobao had more users than eBay in China. But Jack wasn't done. He didn't just want people to sell. He wanted to help them succeed. So he added free tools for sellers, analytics to track what people were buying, chat tools to talk to buyers in real time, seller training programs to help small shops grow. Every move Jack made was to empower the small guy. In his words, "I want 10 million small businesses making money on our platform, not 10 big companies controlling everything." As millions of orders flew across China, another problem appeared. Logistics. Delivery was slow. There was no single system. Shipping was chaotic. Jack Ma didn't want to become a delivery company, but he wanted to connect them all. So in 2013, Alibaba launched Cainiao Network, a smart logistics platform. It didn't own trucks or warehouses. Instead, it used data to link thousands of logistics companies into one powerful system. This helped sellers ship faster, helped buyers get products sooner, and helped small logistics businesses survive. By this time, Alibaba was not just an e-commerce company anymore. Jack started investing in entertainment. He launched Alibaba Pictures, producing movies. He bought Youku Tudou, China's version of YouTube. He started Aliyun, a cloud computing service, like Amazon Web Services. Why? Because Jack always thought 10 years ahead. He said, "Today is hard, tomorrow is harder, but the day after tomorrow is beautiful. Most people die on tomorrow night." He believed that the future would be digital, mobile, and data-driven, so he started planting seeds everywhere. Inside the company, Jack Ma built something very different from other companies. Alibaba was not just about making money. It was about creating a movement. He built a culture called Ali People. Employees called themselves Ali Ren. Each team had a nickname, like a kung fu school. Jack gave himself the nickname Teacher Ma. Even though he was the CEO, he saw himself as a guide, not a boss. He said, "I'm not the smartest, but I hire people smarter than me, and I teach them to believe." He trained his employees not just to work, but to dream. He told them stories, gave them books to read, and reminded them, "You're not here to do a job. You're here to change history." By 2014, Alibaba had grown into a giant. Jack Ma had become one of the most famous businessmen in China and in the world. And now it was time for the final test. Alibaba was going public, listing on the New York Stock Exchange. Everyone in the financial world was watching. How would this Chinese company perform? Would it fail? Would the West trust it? Jack flew to New York. He gave interviews. He talked about small businesses, believing in dreams, and the power of trust. On September 19th, 2014, Alibaba officially went public. The result? It became the largest IPO in history, raising $25 billion in one day. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than Amazon. Jack Ma, the man who was rejected from 30 jobs, was now one of the richest men on earth. That day, standing on the stage of the NYSE, Jack didn't talk about money. He didn't talk about profits. He talked about hope. He said, "This money belongs to the people who believe in us, the small businesses, the dreamers, the underdogs. We will never let them down." And he meant it, because Jack Ma never forgot where he came from. Chapter 4. The Final Bow. Wisdom, Legacy, and the Man Behind the Legend, 2015 to Forever. The year was 2015. Alibaba had already become the largest e-commerce company in China. Jack Ma had built an empire. Alibaba.com was the bridge between Chinese sellers and the world. Taobao was the heartbeat of China's online shopping. Tmall dominated premium e-commerce. Alipay had transformed digital payments. Cainiao was solving China's shipping chaos. AliCloud was powering the digital future. But something changed in Jack Ma. He had climbed the highest mountain, and now he wanted to teach others how to climb it too. This chapter is not about building companies. It's about building people. It's not about becoming a billionaire. It's about becoming free. It's the story of letting go, reflecting deeply, and leaving behind a legacy greater than money. This is the final, most powerful part of Jack Ma's journey. In 2017, Jack Ma shocked the world. At a major tech conference, he said, "I'm going to retire soon. I want to go back to teaching." The world laughed. Was he joking? He was at the top of his power, worth over $40 billion, more famous than most world leaders, and running one of the biggest companies in history. But Jack Ma wasn't joking. He said, "I was never meant to be a CEO. I was always a teacher. I want to return to that." He didn't want to die in an office chair. He didn't want to spend the rest of his life staring at charts, graphs, and market shares. He wanted to help the next generation dream big. He wanted to go back to the beginning. After announcing his retirement, Jack Ma began investing in education. He opened the Jack Ma Foundation, focused on helping rural teachers, poor children, and young entrepreneurs. He visited remote villages, sat with students, and listened to teachers. He didn't bring cameras or fancy speeches. He brought time, respect, and belief. He said, "If we want real change in the world, we must invest in education, not just technology." His dream now was to build Africa's next generation of entrepreneurs, to give rural children in China access to good schools, and to teach people that you don't need to be rich to be great. You need to be kind, brave, and curious. But Jack Ma didn't just focus on charity. He also became bolder and more honest about the dangers of the system. In 2020, he gave a speech that shook the Chinese government. He said, "The banking system in China is outdated. Regulations are slowing innovation. We need reform." These words were not welcomed. Shortly after that speech, Jack Ma disappeared from public view. His company Ant Group's IPO, which was about to become the biggest in history, was suddenly stopped. He stopped attending international events. Rumors spread like wildfire. Where was Jack Ma? Was he punished? Was he hiding? Was he silenced? For several months, Jack Ma was nowhere to be found. No interviews, no speeches, no public appearances. People began to worry. But Jack Ma later returned, quietly. No drama, no attacks, no rebellion, just one message. I am spending more time with myself, learning, growing, helping in other ways. He had become more careful, more quiet, but also more wise. He understood that power can be dangerous, and sometimes the most powerful thing is knowing when to step back. Today, Jack Ma is no longer running Alibaba. He's no longer chasing profit, deals, or headlines. But his impact continues to grow. Every package that arrives at someone's door in China, every small business that found its first customer on Taobao, every young person who believes they can become something, carries a piece of Jack Ma's dream. Because Jack Ma didn't just build websites, he built hope. Let's end with the powerful lessons Jack Ma taught the world. In his own words, 1. Today is hard, tomorrow is harder, but the day after tomorrow is beautiful. Keep going, don't give up in the middle of the storm. The sunshine is waiting on the other side. 2. If you don't give up, you still have a chance. The biggest failure is quitting. If you're still trying, you're still alive. 3. Customer first, employee second, shareholder third. Build for people, not just for profit. People are the real foundation of success. 4. I'm not smart. I failed many times. But I listen, I learn, and I never stop trying. You don't need to be a genius. You need to be willing. 5. Never compare yourself to others. Run your own race. The only competition is with the person you were yesterday. Before retiring, Jack Ma said something unforgettable in an interview. I want people to remember me not as the richest man in China, but as the teacher who tried to do something meaningful. And that is exactly who he became. Not just a billionaire, but a beacon of belief. If you've ever been rejected, if you've ever failed your exams, if you've ever felt small, poor, weak, or invisible, remember Jack Ma. Rejected 30 times from jobs, rejected 10 times from Harvard, failed school exams multiple times, laughed at by experts, threatened by giants like eBay and Amazon, and still he won. Because he never gave up. Because he believed that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. If they believe, if they learn, and if they act. So maybe today you don't feel special. Maybe today You're just like Jack Ma once was, invisible, confused, and small. But tomorrow, you can build something the world has never seen. Just start. Start small, start with belief, and never stop. Thank you for listening to this story. This was not just the biography of Alibaba, this was the story of you. Now, go build your own Alibaba. Go build your dream. And remember, it doesn't matter where you start. What matters is how far you're willing to go.